That's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
I don't give a love to fuck what them bitches gotta say. I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a love to fuck what them niggas gotta say. I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my sisters, then I got a problem, I'm never gonna miss you. I got 100 hanging out the AR, I got a 50 hanging out the pistol. He say it's corner, I'm just being realistic. I be on them corner posted with the realest. If it's the Sabbath, then we going fishing. I'm really no man, that's a God-given mission. I'm really on 10, but I'm stamped in the pistol. I get the order, be glad of this mission. Hebrew Academy graduate, nigga. Training, go through the baddest conditions. I fuck with none but the baddest of bitches. She righteous, submissive, she glad to be with me. Had that thing Putin like Batman, nigga. She know I'm a prophet, she got to be listening. Disrespect, I ain't having that shit. Tell her go make some business from scratch. She bitching the different breed of black men. We don't do the back thing. I remember back when I was really trapping, trying to get the racks in, selling dope to black men. But now I'm trying to make it straight. Like, forget about my face. We standing up straight, can't fold us. Too heavy, the world won't hold us. Go get you some rank, I told you. Line up in these ranks, we sold you. You can take that to the bank, we focus on. How many times must we remind you? One body, one way, some way. I will never take up as a flex. When the law with you ain't no up next. It's just us, nigga, that's that on that. All that weak shit, that ain't no threat. Say you won't beat, bitch, with that ain't no sweat. We with all that. The Lord called a nigga out the world. I responded and called back. Oh, Lord. And everything that they stole from us, fuck the shit, we want all that. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the commanding general, your honor, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. We unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck around with fake niggas. We taking ground when we in your city. You better have the women, have the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't but the same. Don't be a fool and be another victim. Say you a goon, you just another Christian. How you my brother, you ain't in it with me. In the gutter, deep down in the trenches. We with them niggas locked up in the prison. Fucking Hispanic, Native American, Indian. We ain't just talking shit, but we living in it. We be everywhere, you can't miss it. And we be precious hell, take a picture. And we professional with the scriptures. Play, we gon' script them, yeah, we some killers. These niggas tripping, they mind blown. Swear business, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't get it pause when niggas say that they be looking for niggas to slide on. The slide that I know about is when I assemble the group with the slide for real. I get the order, you know that it's slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die for kill. The bigger the better for kingdom of heaven. You niggas get wet up by me cause I'm fed up. I rep UPK. My niggas won't let up. Got choppers, got nines, AKs, Berettas. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga like bitch or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga like. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the commanding general, your honor, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all fuck with such and such? Why y'all won't come together with such and such? I be like, we unaffiliated with them. Understand me? Like, niggas be out here on some weirdo shit. And to be honest, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Hey. That's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. Oh.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my actions. Yes, you said so. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering?
Absolutely.
Should a thief go to jail when he steals?
Absolutely.
Should a robber pay back the money he robbed?
Absolutely.
So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did?
That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a door. Payback is a door.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. This obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles will make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a door. Payback is a door.
Look, ain't no remorse in my bloodstream. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. Devils design fire for our babies to pass through in the damn by king's reign. I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new pair of bellows.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a door. Payback is a door.
You boy. You know what time it is, nigga. Better watch how you step in. Yeah. But that was my niggas. Yeah. I'm in yo. Got my nigga Ramon with me. But that was my niggas, it'll be an honor. You know what I'm saying? Under commanding General Honor. Straight off the top, I love all of my niggas. That shit ain't gon' stop till we on top and we ballin', my nigga. We be fly as fuck, you know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home. That's what my ribs say. But bitch, I'm grown. I'm in these streets and closed caption. Niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my hakim gon' let him have it. Hey, make you the shit, this truth the shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. Get on them K Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm reppin'. And my niggas solid number, real ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start stepping. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them. I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For I take your life or let you take mine. That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get old. We in them graves. Shit got me feeling played. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complexion. Still fighting to get accepted. We hear the truth and reject it, but love is getting corrected. And all my niggas correct me. The commandments, the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
Hey, shalom on Christ. Shalom on Christ. Let's clap it up. Clap it up. All right. This is Monday Night History class. And, this is the ISBK coming to 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York. Like I said, it's the Monday Night History class. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into it. And if we are under Commander General Yohana, once again, under Commander General Yohana. He is the reason why we have these classes. We want to educate our people on our history because, we've been taught a false history. Our whole life, we've been taught a false history, being raised in the ghettos and the barrios and the, what do you call it, where they got the reservations, the water. We've been raised in these places, right? So we don't understand like what our true history is, right? Because we've been taught a very watered down history. Because they know what black people are capable of. You understand? Like you think that you had, there was times you had Black Wall Street, right? You had different places that you ran or whatever, that you had, you were successful in. But I'm gonna show you that you were big in Africa too, before we got taken over slavery. And then I don't know if people remember. But I always said how do we end up being slaves, right? You thought you were a slave. You were taught your whole life that black people was just randomly snatched out of Africa, right? Africa, big as hell. There's a thing that you can go online and you can go and see. It will show you the size of Africa in comparison to the other countries. I think damn near all the countries can fit into all the other continents can fit into Africa, right? Like it's that big, minus Asia. But pretty much I think North America, South America, Europe, and Australia can fit into Africa. It is huge. But you've been taught but you've been taught your whole life that you come from, that you just came from some random place of Africa. They just said, okay, pick him and get him and bring him on over, right? This is you've been taught. It's just random. They just picked random dark-skinned people and just brought them over here, right? But even if you want to go to the Bible, how were people slaves in the Bible? How were you a slave? How did most slaveries happen when a nation become a slave? How did it happen? You got anything, Hadar? Yeah, how did it happen? In any place, when a nation got taken into captivity. Go ahead.
How do we go into captivity? I don't want. That's the question.
No, I said, how did any nation go under captivity? That's any nation.
Through war.
Like, go ahead.
Would it be through war?
Get that brother a hand. It's through warfare. That's how everybody is taken over as a slave. Even when Israelites took other Israelites as slaves, how did it happen? It was through civil war, right? That's when they had concubines. You remember that? A concubine is when it's a woman, all the men around her have been killed. There's nobody to give her into marriage, and you see she's there. You see a damsel, in the wilderness after a whole family has gotten killed, right? You can now take that woman and make her your wife. She's a lower wife because she wasn't taken the appropriate way. And taken doesn't mean like snatched up and raped. Just so you understand this. Because you're gonna have people think that, people on, because that's what people really want to do. That's what they mind they want. They think I'm just gonna snatch a woman up and just take her. That's not how it works. There's a woman you see, you know what I'm saying? She's there, you like her, you want her. You can go and have the woman, right? Her husband's dead, her father's dead, her brothers are all dead because they died in the war. Only thing left is her. You know what I'm saying? It's not right for her to not have nobody to look out after her. Now you're able to go look out after her, right? So that's how that would be, right? So that's how everybody becomes slaves. So don't let your oppressor teach you and try to tell you they just grabbed up random black people, random dark-skinned people, and just say, you know what, I'm just any, meeny, mighty, mo. You know what I'm saying? Catch a Negro by the toe and just grab him up, throw him on the boat. That's not how it went. They were very strategic on how they did this. Has anybody, Ayak, have you ever looked on slave voyages before? True.
Sir.
Okay. When y'all get a chance, I don't know if he can do it now, but we can check it out later. But anyway, you can go on the slave voyages. Look it up on Google. Go to slave voyages, right? And you put in just the word Yah, Y-A-H, right? Which is always short for Yahweh, right? Put that in. Look how many people that has a name ended in Y-A-H. It'd be like hundreds of thousands of them, right? I did it before.
Okay.
I did it before. Do you think you can pull it up?
I don't want that at the moment, sir.
Oh no, I was talking to Dar. I was talking to Dar. You think the parts could pull it up? If it's too much, don't worry about it. All right, no sweat. But slave voyages. If you ever to go look on slave voyages and just put in Yah, and you gotta remember, not all Hebrew names had Yah in it, right? Not all of them had name. Hadar's name, it does have a Yah in it. Well, you know what I'm saying? It does have a Yah in it. You know what I'm saying? My name doesn't have a Y-A-H. It just goes to Y-A-W, right? So like I said, it doesn't have to have a Y-A-H. You just put in Y-A-H in there and you'll see all of the different Hebrew names that got taken into captivity, man. So that just goes to show you they knew where they were taken. It wasn't random thing. It was not random at all. So, like I said, and that's just the records that they kept. You know what I'm saying? A lot of records got destroyed and all of that. That's just the ones that they kept. All right. So, like I said, they knew they were taking. If you listen to your oppressor, they're gonna always just say it was random because they don't want you to have a heritage. They don't want you to know where you come from. So the one thing I couldn't find again that I wanted to find was there was I think he was a rabbi. I was looking for him again, but there was a rabbi, right? A Jewish rabbi, a devil, correct? He said that as he was doing studies, I'll see if I can get that name for you before next time I teach, right? Um, he was doing studies on people in Africa, right? And he said right along that Niger River, they doing a lot of Judaism, right? They celebrating Passover. They got fringes. They keeping the feast days, the high holy days. Why are they doing that? And he said, yo, they might be descendants of Israelites. Like, why are they just randomly doing this? And they were along that Niger River. They look at that Niger River, right? Right there. It was long there. You know, Niger, the river is always sustenance for any civilization, if you know anything. That's why you got that's why the Mississippi River, even in over here, was like a large, the Mississippi River is like a large. If anybody ever never seen the Mississippi River, it is freaking huge. Like if you on the freeway, it takes probably about, and you're going 65 miles an hour, it takes probably about a good 20 seconds to cross. So that's a long way. That's about a quarter, half a mile. It's a big river. So, maybe not that long. It's been a while since I've been over there. But at any rate, it's a big river. It's a lot of water, just nonetheless. So, we know anything about rivers, they always are sustenance. The Nile River, we had the Euphrates over there, I can't think of the rest of the rivers, but we had the Euphrates. That was one river that went through around Israel somewhere. And we had all these different rivers because rivers always provide what they provide: water, so you can drink. They provide a source of food, fish. Other animals go there, so you get to have your deer, your bison. You get to hunt them there. And then what else? There you go. That my man is on it. See, you get to put a boat on there, and now you got an easy form of travel. Okay. So let me see. So with that, that's where we were. Okay. That's where we were. Let me see if I can find that real quick for y'all. Some of those names. It's probably gonna be a lot harder. Haven't looked in a long time. But at any rate, so that's where we were, and we were right off the Niger River. And that Niger River, like I said, it provided all of these different things. And I'm gonna get you back on this. Have you ever heard? We've all read, or at least you should have read, from Babylon to Timbuktu. Have y'all read that? Have you read that up? Read some of it. How about you, Trooper? Trooper, you there? All right, no sweat. So anyway, I'm trying to see if I can find that real quick, so I can find that slave voyages. Like I said, that's been a long time since I've been on here. I just want to get names. All right. Any rate. So that's where we had land at. So anyway, while we're from Babylon to Timbuktu, what it does is it tells from 70 AD, right? We got to go back to 70 AD. 70 AD is when Rome sacked Jerusalem. They took over Jerusalem, right? When that happened, Israelites were already told about. We were told, and I believe in the book of Matthew, he said, if you see Jerusalem encompassed, which means circled or surrounded by armies, go to the hills, leave, because the destruction of Jerusalem is nigh. Some people believed him, some people didn't. So there were different territories of people that were taken into Europe. Some were taken into Europe, right? Some were already in Europe, because you know who was Paul talking to, right? They were already in Europe, okay? And you had some that fled into Africa. A large amount fled into Africa. Probably what he said, about 1 million at least. That's what he said in Babylon and Timbuktu. About 1 million people fled into Africa. So, and the rest got captured. So, and they became slaves in Europe. And you had people that fled into Africa to become free. So don't think that they didn't know about those people that went into Africa. They knew, hey man, why they, those are the people that, because with black people, they, sometimes they don't ever want to leave when know something about to happen. A hurricane about to leave, about to hit Florida. They want to stay there. It's kind of what happened. It was about to happen. Some people say, you know what, I'm out of here. Screw all that, I'm gone. And some people stayed. Some people stayed and became slaves. And the other ones went into Africa, right? Which they eventually still became slaves, but we all know that part. But they were able to have some semblance of freedom going back to Africa, because all throughout the Bible, where the black people always go, where the Israelites always go, they would go to Africa at some point in time because they can hide amongst the Africans, right? Because we have similar skin tone and similar features, even though we're different people. We know we're different. They know we're different than them. But everybody else think that we're the same. Just like they confused Paul with an Egyptian, right? So as we went into Africa, we started building up our little kingdoms, start having different tribes. Some tribes were bigger than others, some were more glorious than others. And this is one of them, right? And this is called the Songhai dynasty or Songhai Empire. All right. This was around the 1400s to right about the beginning of the 1600s, maybe end of 1500s, and that's when it got destroyed. Okay, but then why did we get destroyed? First, we were following what? Some of our own customs, right? No, first we were following our own customs, then we started following heathens. We decided we wanted to be Muslims. Because can you find out the date when that dude made that what's his name? He made that pilgrimage to Mecca. No, not Muhammad, the dude from Timbuktu. I can't think of his name. I can never remember his name when I need to remember it. So I just want to see if there's anything in course, that just made me think of it. But at any rate, we started going over there, and then all of a sudden now we all Mansa Musa, I think his name is Mansa Musa. So then we wanted to be Islam, we wanted to be Muslims. And then what always happens? We get taken over. So, that's what happened. So we decided to take in other customs. All right. All right. Let's get into it. Anybody got any questions so far? Yeah, what's the date? Yeah. What's the date on that? Like, what's the year? Okay, so that was before that. Okay. No sweat. I couldn't remember what time that was. I was just gonna bring it up if it was, but that was in a different time. So this is way before 1324. This is right around early 1400s when this happened. So all right. So It could have always been, heard stories of Mansa Musa with all of the money and all of that. Because remember, he was over there Islam, and then when he came, he showed all of the wealth that was going on in there. And what they do, all them Arabs came on the greedy Arabs that came over there, wanted to start ruling over stuff. So that's another part of it too. So in case y'all didn't know that part of history, they seen all the wealth that they had over there. So, and they said that's the wealth of Africa. That's what everybody want to say. That's the wealth of Africa. A lot of countries had wealth. Africa has a lot because you got to remember, like I said, the size of Africa. Africa is much bigger than the map that they gave you. The map that they give you does not correctly represent the size of Africa. It is way off. It makes Europe look almost as big as Africa. When Europe is like the size of like Georgia, damn near. It's like that small. It's like compared to Africa, it's like very small. Africa is like maybe say if Africa is this big, Europe is like this big, like that big. And Africa is like this big. Like just to kind of give like with a hand gesture, kind of give it's so small. And the United States, like all of North and South America, Europe and Australia can fit into Africa. That's how massive it is. So you have to think of all the wealth that can be had in one land will be there. So of course Africa is going to be wealthy because then nobody like gold. Don't get me wrong, gold has always like been a thing, but nobody really is greedy for gold like our oppressor and Arabs. Arabs, like when they seen that, because the Arabs they set up different trade things like the Silk Road trade. So they wanted to get in on that trade that was going on with the other devils. That's what they wanted to get in. So they seen the money like, yeah, let me get at that. All right, so you can bring up the part we can read. Trooper, you still there? Trooper, you quiet? I guess he's still gone. All right, let's go to introduction to the Songhai Empire. The Songhai Empire, also known as the Songhai, flourished between the 15th and 16th centuries, establishing itself as a dominant force in West Africa, centered along the middle reaches of the Niger River, what is now central Mali. Its capital was the city of Gayo. At the zenith, the Songhai Empire was not only one of the largest states in African history, but also a beacon of wealth, military prowess, and Islamic scholarship. Its extensive trade networks connected it with North Africa and the Middle East, facilitating exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. The empire's rise followed the decline of the Mali Empire, inheriting and expanding upon many of its predecessors' trade routes and cultural traditions. Early history and rise to power. The origins of the Songhai Empire can be traced back to at least the 9th century, with their initial settlement in Gao around 100,000 CE. For a period, they were under the dominion of the Mali Empire. However, by the 14th century, the Songhai began to assert their independence, gradually gaining control over river transport on the Niger River, which proved to be a strategic advantage. The true turning point in the empire's expansion came with the reign of Sunni Ali. Sunni Ali is revered as the military genius who transformed the Songhai Empire, a kingdom, from a regional power into a vast empire. He adopted a strategy of sustained territorial expansion, moving beyond sporadic raids to systematic campaigns. His army, equipped with armored cavalry and a formidable naval fleet on the Niger River, allowed him to conquer significant territories, including the remnants of the old Mali Empire. Notable conquests included the important trade centers of Timbuktu and Dien. Sunni Ali's leadership was characterized by a blend of traditional African beliefs and Islamic practices, and he was known for his ruthless efficiency in battle, earning him the epithet Sunni the Merciless. He established a centralized administration, dividing conquered lands into provinces governed by appointed officials, and implemented census systems for tribute collection. Tribute, anybody know what tribute collection is? All right, anybody there? You there, Trooper, yet? All right. Anyway, anybody doesn't know tribute collection is, that's taxes, right? All right, that's taxes. And political alliances through marriage. He also initiated agricultural improvements such as building dikes for irrigation, which boosted crop yields and contributed to the empire's stability and prosperity. So he built a lot of things to help, grow the country, like things for irrigation. So, we were farmers, right? Israelites, we've always been farmers. Let me see if anybody need to get on. So remember, we were always farmers. We made things better for farming all the time, right? So that's what we did. Made farm and grow. Okay. And that's what made us, that's what made this place prosperous. All right. Now the golden age, Askia Muhammad, the first reform. The golden age of the Songhai Empire is largely attributed to Askia Muhammad, he reigned from 1493 to 1528, who seized power after overthrowing Sunni Ali's son, Sunni Baru. Askia Muhammad, also known as Askia the Great, embarked on a series of comprehensive reforms that solidified the empire's structure and promoted Islamic scholarship. His reign marked significant shift towards a more orthodox Islamic state, with the Quran serving as a civil code and Arabic as the official language. A devout Muslim, Askia Muhammad undertook a renowned pilgrimage to Mecca in 1496, which not only enhanced his prestige, but also facilitated the exchange of knowledge and ideas. He brought back scholars from Mecca, establishing Timbuktu as a preeminent center of Islamic learning, attracting scholars, jurists, and physicians from across the Muslim world. He also founded numerous mosques and Quranic schools, fostering an environment of intellectual and religious growth. Askia Muhammad's administrative reforms were equally impactful. He further centralized the government, dividing the empire into provinces with each overseen by a governor. He created specialized ministries for finance, justice, agriculture, and army, ensuring efficient governance. He standardized weights and measures throughout the empire. Weights and measures is like how you deal with money. So, like, if you have like an ounce of gold is worth a certain amount of money. So he standardized it so because ounce of gold may be worth more in the southeast part than it is in the northeast part. So he standardized it throughout the whole empire. All right. Which facilitated trade and economic stability. Militarily, he established a fully professional army, further strengthening the empire's control over its vast territories. While he promoted Islam as a state religion, he also demonstrated a degree of tolerance towards traditional African beliefs, allowing them to persist in rural areas. So, if you're in a rural area, you can produce, do other things. His reign saw the Songhai Empire reach its greatest territorial extent, and its reforms laid the groundwork for a period of unprecedented prosperity and cultural flourishing. So, number 4. Are y'all on? Are y'all on 4? All right. Is there somebody that can read? Is there somebody that can read or? Okay. Started economy and trade networks. The Songhai Empire's economic prosperity was deeply intertwined with its control over vital trans-Saharan trade routes and abundant natural resources, particularly gold and salt. The Niger River served as a crucial artery for internal trade and transportation, connecting various regions within the empire. So it's telling you here that its prosperity like made the whole area just grow better because it was a crucial artery for all the trade and transportation. All of the goods and services were brought through this area. All right. Timbuktu and Dien strategically, or Dijon, I don't know how you say it, strategically located along these trade routes, became bustling commercial hubs. The trans-Saharan trade involved the exchange of goods such as gold, ivory, spices, cola nuts, and slaves. From the south for rock, salt, fine cloth, glassware, sugar, and northern from South Africa and Europe. So they traded these things, other things coming from Europe. All right. The empire levied taxes on this trade. You see where I'm at? Or you can start there.
From economy and trade network. The economy levied taxes on this trade, which significantly contributed to its growth. A thriving merchant class played a pivotal role in the economy and often held influential positions in government. The presence of a well-organized military ensured the safety of these trade routes.
So there you go. So you had a real organized military and empire. He levied taxes on this trade, right? This is your version of tariffs. He had tariffs on this trade coming from all these different places, right? Keep going.
Further bolstering economic activity.
So tariffs are supposed to bolster a country's economic prosperity. It's supposed to bolster it. But the thing of it is, you have to have something that all these other countries want. And we, at the time, we had a lot of resources, right? Keep going.
Further bolstering economic activity. While trade was paramount, agriculture remained the backbone of the rural economy.
Agriculture, right? What are Israelites always doing? Agriculture, right? Keep going.
With fertile land along the Niger flood provided a consistent food supply. The existence of rural markets indicated a surplus in agricultural production, and historical records suggest that famine was a rare occurrence during the early and middle periods of the empire.
So it was a rare occurrence. See what happens. One thing that really destroys an economy and ultimately a country or a nation is a famine. Why did the Israelites end up in Egypt? Because of a famine, right? There was a famine in land. So he went to Egypt, right? So, but famine can destroy a nation. All right. So, but because this land was so fertile, we were able to, not really have famines. Everybody gets fed. Everybody like what happens? What happens if you have a dog? You start feeding it. It's gonna keep coming back, right? That's how it is. When you have food, which is the bare necessity to survive, you will have everybody in your pocket. Do you know this is why? Even they're related back to today. Iran is the breadbasket for the Middle East. You can't grow anything in the Middle East, which is why Israel wants Iran. They want to destabilize them because they destabilize them. Iran is like I said, that's the food. They produce all the food for the rest of all the Middle East because you like all of this nothing but sand out there. And you gotta remember, Iran is Persia. Persia was a great empire. Why was Persia a great empire? They had food. All right. You have a lot of food, you always have a great empire. Because not every empire can grow food. They might have elephants, they might have anything else, but it don't mean that they can produce crops. Because you gotta only certain places produce good crops. Right? Let's keep going.
No problem. In religion and society. Under Askia Muhammad I, Islam became the official state religion of the Songhai Empire, particularly among the ruling elite and in urban centers.
Mm-hmm.
This embrace of Islam facilitated diplomatic and trade relations with other Muslim states and contributed to the intellectual vibrancy of cities like Timbuktu. However, traditional African beliefs and practices continue to thrive, especially in rural areas, demonstrating a unique blend of religious traditions within the empire. Society was stratified, reflecting a hierarchical structure common in many empires of the time.
Mm-hmm.
At the top were the nobles, followed by merchants, artisans, farmers, and enslaved people.
Mm-hmm.
Slavery was a prevalent institution, often involving prisoners of war.
How does all, like I said, what do we say about all slaves? Prisoners of war. That's where slavery comes from. Prisoners of war. All right. Now it's very difficult to tell who was the slaves at these times. Like to get all of these things is not very easy to get. A lot of stuff requires getting old books, and to get old books, you have to have a never-ending wallet to get some of these books because these books can be $10,000 easy. Yeah, 1,000, 500. Like I've seen books that that really tells a lot of history, especially like a real old Jewish encyclopedia, being like 2 grand easy. So with these information, because if here's the thing, before the 1900s, like 1900s maybe to like 1920 ish, somewhere in that area, all of the books told more truth usually. After 1920, the books took a drastic turn because they started putting propaganda in the books. So not no don't quote me on exactly 1920. Just it was just earlier 1900s before the halfway through, right? Before halfway through, they started putting a lot of propaganda in the books because they were trying to rewrite history. The Rockefellers wanted to make good slaves, which working slaves. So they decided to go into the books and everything and start teaching a different type of history. But if you know anything about this time, if you one of the old, the good old boys that had, the money, like, the Carnegie, the Andrew Carnegies and all of those rich tycoons, you know, have you ever noticed that back in those days, they always had it was the thing to have that showed wealth was having a library. That was like the thing to have, right? Because books were expensive at that time. They were expensive because we didn't have. Well, I don't. I'm like we didn't have like the printing press. Like, and if we did, it wasn't as easy as it is now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. I forget the year that the printing press came out. So, but I'm just saying. But books, you gotta think. Of course, books are cheaper to make today than they were in 1911. Like that's obvious, right? That's obvious. So to have a whole bunch of books was like a sign of wealth. To have a library, that was a sign of wealth. But the thing about those books is they had a lot of things that was written that was people was telling their accounts of what things were going on. And those accounts were more truthful than the accounts you have in modern society today. Right? Because it's somebody that's like how we got like researchers and like you got people like today they'll just like be like a hobo and just go live with the Amazonians for like 3 years and they'll document what they wrote, what they seen. You know, what are they? What are Caucasians? A vagabond and and what's up? And the fugitive and the vagabond, right? They always vagabond. They don't have a home, so they go make their home amongst you in all these different places. So they would go study all these different things. The same way it was then, the same way it is now. Nothing changes. They would go and study these places, and they would have books written on it. But you had to be of wealth in order to have these books, to have a real account of things that really happened. And then with those books being so rare, they're even more expensive today because they only can make 1,000, per se. You can only make 1,000. So and that's how that would go, man. So, it's a lot that we miss out on history because it's simply because of price of the books. All right, let's keep going. Like, I mean, just give an example. Russian Nikon, when they first got the book, it was like $17. Now you can get the book for under like 500. So go ahead.
Okay. Despite the social stratification, the empire maintained a degree of social order through a combination of centralized government, a robust tax system, and application of Sharia law in urban areas.
Mm-hmm.
The presence of strong military,
Sharia law is like Islamic law, just so everybody knows. Keep going.
the presence of a strong military also played a role in maintaining internal stability and enforcing imperial authority.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Military power and government. The Songhai Empire's military was a formidable force, crucial for its expansion, defense, and the maintenance of internal order. It compromised a well organization. It comprised a well organized infantry, a powerful cavalry, and a unique river fleet that patrolled the Niger River.
Dang, so he had a little navy going on, man. We weren't playing. Well, he had everything. He had the navy. We would go, march around and keep it. We was on Shamar. You know what I'm saying? It was on that heavy Shamar. Keep going.
Securing trade routes and facilitating rapid troop movement.
Mm-hmm.
The military was professionalized under Askia Muhammad I,
Mm-hmm.
ensuring its effectiveness. The empire's government was highly centralized, especially compared to its predecessors, the Ghana and Mali Empire. The absolute monarch ruled with the assistance of the imperial council, composed of senior officials, including ministers of finance, agriculture, justice, and the army. The empire was divided into provinces, each administered by appointed governors who reported directly to the central authority. This sophisticated tax system was in place to fund the army, royal court, and provide for public welfare. The implementation of Sharia law in urban areas provided a legal framework, contributing to the overall stability and order within the vast empire.
And where does Sharia law come from? Well, that came from the Bible. Because what did Muhammad do? Exactly.
Decline and fall. Following the reign of Askia Muhammad I.
Askia. I named him after him. That's funny.
Following the reign of Askia Muhammad I, the Songhai Empire entered a period of decline marked by internal strife and weak leadership. Civil wars erupted as various factions vied for power, destabilizing the centralized government and weakening the empire's influence. This internal turmoil left the empire vulnerable to external threats. The final blow came in 1591 when Morocco, under the leadership of Sultan Ahmad al-Rashid, launched an invasion. The Moroccan forces, equipped with firearms, possessed a significant technological advantage over the Songhai Empire, which primarily relied on traditional weapons. The decisive Battle of Tombouctou in 1591 resulted in a crushing defeat for the Songhai. The Moroccan victory effectively ended the Songhai Empire's dominance, leading to its fragmentation into smaller independent states. The Trans-Saharan trade routes were disrupted, and the region experienced a period of instability and decline.
Here you go. So we end up losing to the Moroccos. Decided we wanted to be Muslim, and the real Muslims came and whooped our behind.
Legacy of the Songhai Empire. Despite its eventual fall, the Songhai Empire left an indelible, in- indelible mark on West African history and culture. Its contributions to Islamic education and scholarship, particularly through the intellectual centers of Timbuktu and Beijing, continue to be celebrated. These cities were renowned for their universities, libraries, and the vibrant intellectual life that attracted scholars from across the Muslim world. The empire's sophisticated administrative and government structure served as a model for subsequent African states. The Songhai Empire stands as a powerful symbol of African sophistication, wealth, and political organization before the era of European colonization. Its rich history served as a testament to the advanced civilizations that flourished in West Africa, challenging the simplistic narrative of African history and highlighting the continent's significant contributions to global civilization.
All right, there you go on that. So let's give a little bit of timeline. So you see, Gal about 1000 CE. Gal was established as a trading city. 14th century, Songhai gains independence from the Mali Empire. 1464 to 92, reign of Sunni Ali, significant territorial expansion. 1469, Songhai gains control of Timbuktu. 1473, Songhai conquers Dijin. 1493 to 1528, reign of Askia Muhammad, golden age of reforms and expansion. 1496, Askia Muhammad one undertakes the pilgrimage to Mecca. 1591, Moroccan invasion and battle of Tundibi, leading to the fall of the empire. And in 1600s, the fragmentation and decline of the Songhai influence. And do y'all remember what I told y'all? Remember what I told y'all? I told this a long time ago, right? When I was teaching on about a lot of our stuff with history and us being taken to Africa, right? Taken from Africa. Where did the first slave ships come from? They came to the New World. That first one. From where? La. They first came from Europe because we were ruling in Europe. If you want to get information on that, get the Black Indians. It tells about a lot of the slave routes. They were, when they first started taking slaves, they were coming from Europe first. Okay, from Europe. The slave trade was starting from Europe and North and South America. They were going back and forth. They were taking slaves from Europe, taking them to America, taking slaves from America, which is the Native Americans, to Europe. It wasn't until when, the 1600s, that they started getting slaves from Africa, primarily. I'm not saying there was none that got taken from Africa in the 1500s. I'm not saying there was none, because you can't, when it comes to history, you can, it's hard to just say none ever happened, to be a hard no on something or hard yes. It's hard to do that because people have different accounts. They didn't have a centralized internet like we have today. So they weren't able to talk to one another to say, did you see it? Did you see it? They didn't have communication like that, right? So it's hard to just say a hard no. So you have to go by, there wasn't as many slave trades. And it wasn't. It wasn't many. It wasn't probably, if any, it was probably just a handful that I saw. They even said in the black Indians. All right. So most of them came from Europe first. Then in the 1600s, that's because you got to remember because what happened with King James, right? The 1611. So the 1611, we started losing wars. He seen the end was coming. So he said we need to translate this, and he translated the Bible for us. He seen the hell was coming. He seen these devils they seen that they was gaining power, right? And one of the things I learned from somewhere, I can't remember where, but I haven't proven it yet. I haven't been able to find it again. But if I remember somebody saying like they were always trying to say that King James was a homosexual, which all of those things came out later after he was dead. But one of the things they used to say he was homosexual was that he had men sleeping in the bed with him, right? But no, he had a big bed and he had different levels, right? It had different levels. Oh no, we can go. We better go to something else in a minute. He had different levels, so his bodyguards would sleep on the bed with him, but it was like different levels. So maybe he's here and his bodyguard is here, but it would still be like the same bed. But you got to remember, he was like King James. Like I think, didn't he get assassinated? I believe. I can't remember. I can't remember offhand, but I believe he got assassinated. So him being assassinated, that's why he had men, quote unquote, sleeping in the bed with him. Because when are you most vulnerable? Exactly. So they're not on the bed with him like that. They were sleeping so that they can defend him at a last minute's notice. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was. But everybody they just thought he was just being gay instead of just no. He's trying to live. You know what I'm saying? He's just trying to live. Exactly. So because he knew that these devils was gaining power and they wanted to kill him. So all right, let's get on to the next one. Let me see here. But yeah, man. I just want y'all know World War III is coming, man. It is coming. I thought I'd take a little break from the small hats today. You know, I'm gonna get back on them next time I teach, but I thought I'd give a little bit of break. What I said, Portugal. I'm not sure what her lock was talking about when he said Portugal in here, but thought I'd give them a little break. But it's so much, man. Everything always go back to them. I could probably find a link in here to back to them somewhere if I look hard enough. Trust me. All right. So that's that on that. Now, so you learned they had.
Salaki had one.
Go ahead.
To your point about saying that you could bring up something, I just finished watching half of the 12 trial charts on Crossline Radio, and it got to the point where he was explaining that Christopher Columbus, he was a small head.
And you say you learned that where?
On the 12 trial charts video for on Crossline Radio.
Oh, you talking about the one that Cam Kadazar did like a few years back?
Khan.
Yeah.
He was explaining he was a converso, was like a convert to Christianity from Judaism.
Okay, yeah, a lot of I just like he's showing that I knew it happened, but I just didn't I heard rumors that he was one of them, but I wasn't for sure. But no, there was a lot of people that converted from Judaism to be Catholics. Because here's the thing I understand about the small hats that I want you to believe. I want you to understand. Small hats don't have a religion except money and power. That's their religion. They don't believe, their small hats don't even believe in the Bible. They follow the Talmud, right? They follow more the Talmud than the Bible. That's why they just say we just follow, we just do the Torah. And they really only talk about the first 5 books. The only thing they really know in the whole Bible is the first 5 books. And the rest is the Talmud. So, and there was a lot of people that converted because they want to say all of the time like we were persecuted. because they're taking our position. We were the ones persecuted. So they're saying they were persecuted in place of us. All right. So while we were really being persecuted, they just converted off of power. Like, for instance, when it came to even at that time, they seen a lot of things like, in Catholicism, because they follow a little bit of the Bible. The Catholics probably follow more of the Bible than the small hats. Damn, that's bad. But anyway, but they didn't believe in usury, so they wouldn't charge each other usury and all of that, right? Hey, Shalom, Lord Christ. They wouldn't charge each other usury. So small hats seen a chance to get advantage, and they started charging usury and became filthy, stinking rich. So, like I said, we can always tie something back to them, but I want to get on this Leo Africanus, right? Anybody else got any questions, anything? What's going on, huh? All right, what's your name? Jamie? Yo, man, Jamie. All right, nice to meet you, huh? All right. All right, what's your name? Yo, man, Shamil. All right. Nice to meet y'all. Y'all doing too hard? Most High Christ, Most High Christ. Today we talking about the history of the Songhai Empire, right? The Songhai Empire is telling about, because you heard that you was taken from Africa, right? So, but you don't learn nothing else but that. So you think they just found Negroes and I'm just gonna pick a nigga, any money more, just snatch them up, bring them over here, right? But no, that wasn't happening. We were taken because we were prisoners of war. So, and the Africans sold us over here to our oppressor. So I'm just getting into some of the history. Y'all missed the first part where I talked about the Songhai Empire, but you can look it up if you like to. But they're just talking about the empire that was started. Now I'm getting on the Leo Africanus, right? All right. So now they were at first, at certain points they had during that time in that empire, they started getting into Islam, which is, once the Most High once we start getting into all of that mess, what happens? Dump that on out. Don't get rid of them, and you end up losing again. So we're going to Leo Africanus. He was born Al Hassan. I ain't got time to read all that. Was a Berber. He was a Berber Andalusi diplomat, writer, and traveler who was captured by Christian pirates and presented as a gift to Pope Leo X. He later converted to Christianity, adopted the name Johannes Leo de Medicis, and became known as Leo Africanus. His most famous work, Description del Africa, the description of Africa, published in 1550, provided Europeans with an unprecedented and detailed account of North Africa and the Sudanic kingdoms. Talk about the kingdoms in the Sudan, right? Including the Songhai Empire. His travels took him through various parts of the Songhai Empire, including his prominent cities like Timbuktu. Remember, I said we got that book From Babylon to Timbuktu, right? So just talking about those cities, offering a unique first-hand perspective on the region during the early 16th century, right? Before they fell was in 1591. Leo Africanus' observations on Judaism in the Songhai Empire. While the Songhai Empire, particularly under Askia Muhammad the first, was known for his promotion of Islam and Islamic scholarship, Leo Africanus' writings shed light on the presence and challenges faced by other religious communities, including Jews. His account indicates that Judaism was not openly practiced or tolerated by the ruling power. So I've seen pictures before of people that was in the whole, like paintings of people in the whole Islam garb, but he had fringes on the bottom, right? Still trying to preserve their culture to some degree, right? According to Leo Africanus, as cited in historic accounts, the king Ascius declared enemy of the Jews. He will not allow any to live in the city. If he hears it said that a Berber merchant frequents them or does business with them, he confiscates his goods. The observation from 1526 highlights a period of prosecution against the Jewish community in Timbuktu under Askia Muhammad. It suggests that while Jewish individuals may have been present, they were not permitted to openly practice their faith within the city and faced severe economic repercussions if they engaged in commerce with others. This contrasts with the general Islamic tolerance often extended to people of the book. So Islam, they if you know Islam, they're supposed to have a um extended to Jews. They're supposed to have like, I don't know if y'all study Islam at all, right? But Islam is supposed to like be okay with Jews and Christians, right? But you know, because we were taken in, because that's the thing. That's why we're not supposed to be following these other nations and all these other religions, because we start persecuting our own damn people. You know what I'm saying? So we wasn't tolerating this. So now the thing is, sometimes it's hard to get stuff lost in history. You don't know exactly the Askia Muhammad was an Israelite or not. That's hard to tell if he is. But the thing of it is we were in these cities, all in this nation inside the Songhai Empire. We were all in here, right? And then once it failed, they started taking us as slaves and started selling us over to the Americans, right? And the people that was in South America, because there was kingdoms down there as well, right? Let's see. It suggests that what? Uh-huh. Yeah, the same thing. Islam is like, it's like saying Christianity for Christians. Islam is what they call the religion. Muslims is what they call themselves. So it's like the different of it. Some white people like to say Islamists because they just, I don't know. That's what it is. They just try to call what they want to call people. Like, you might have a name for yourself. Devils just be like, I'm gonna call you what I want to call you. So go ahead. No, no, not Moabites. Moabites are the Chinese. They're the Chinese. Now, could there have been some people that were Moabites that were Chinese that converted to Islam? Yes, always. Who would be the majority of what? Right here, it would be a mixture. It's hard to say because we weren't there at that time. We didn't have a centralized internet system, so we didn't have like we can keep up with different things. You know what I'm saying? But what happened is because Mansa Musa came over to had this pilgrimage to Mecca, right? When he did that, a lot of Arabs came to Timbuktu. So you had Arabs coming in, huh? Not that I know of. Not like that. Amalek is the so-called Jewish man. That's who Amalek became. All right. So I don't. It's like I said. It's hard to really say like to find out who exactly because like there was like we didn't call each other black and white a lot of these times until later on. You didn't have actual descriptions is very rare. They just said he had the appearance of something like or a country. He had the appearance of this type of people of the country. They didn't really go into appearance like the black and white thing came in slavery to us. We're stuck on the black and white, but the rest of the world wasn't on that type of thing. Yeah, it came much later. It came like 700s. Yeah, seven. Yeah, it came like that because they weren't even going that big on black and white in the 1500s. That really came in like the 16 and 1700s. As are calling us calling us. I'm not saying they didn't call you niggers and all of that because nigger just come from Latin for the word black. That's where that comes from. So it's Niger, right? So that's where that comes from. So it's hard to say exactly how many people because not everybody wrote it. Well, they were starting to write a lot because they had a lot of institutions. But you got to remember when you go and take over a place, what they start burning everything, especially if devils do it. They burn everything to the ground. I don't know what it is. They just got to see stuff on fire. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying this is necessarily them that did this, but I'm just saying like a lot of stuff get lost. A lot of the papers that get written about history ends up getting lost in history because of when you come to take over a place, you just discard their history. So a lot of stuff just gets lost. So only people that can talk about it is the victors because their history remains. So it's very hard to tell everything. I just know that we were here in this area. I don't know how many, but I do know it's like a mixture. It was a mixture. It's like it is everywhere. The mixture of Africans, there's a mixture of Israelites, and there's a mixture of Arabs that came. Because you could trace the migrations to different places. You can trace us from coming from Israel over here. You can trace the Arabs once Mansa Musa came, and you know the Africans already been there. So it's safe to say all three of those were here. I doubt there were white people like that because everything I see says that they didn't really allow them in here like that. And plus, you know, if you know anything about them, they see you come out looking, you know, white or albino, they eating them. So, so I don't think they did that because they'd have been lunch. So, but I don't think they were out there. If they were, it was probably very few, right? So, anybody else got any questions? All good? All right. Let me see here. So, he was going against the Jewish community. Now, this is more than likely our people he was even coming against, right? So, you weren't allowed to openly practice. This contrasts with a general Islamic tolerance often seen to the people in the book, talk about Jews and Christians and other Muslim majority regions, indicating a specific policy within the Songhai Empire at that time. Broader religious dynamics. Leo Africanus' writings, alongside other historical sources, paint a picture of a complex religious landscape within the Songhai Empire. While Islam was a state religion and heavily promoted by rulers like Askia Muhammad, traditional African beliefs continued to be prevalent, especially in rural areas. The empire's rulers often navigated a path that integrated Islamic principles with existing local customs and traditions. The persecution of Jews, as described by Africanus, stands as a notable exception to the broader, albeit sometimes nuanced, religious tolerance seen in other aspects of the Songhai Empire, Songhai society. They let you pretty much do whatever, celebrate any god you wanted to in the rural area, unless you want to be Jew, be a Jew, right? His accounts are invaluable for understanding the social and religious policies of the Songhai Empire and provide a critical perspective on the challenges faced by minority religious groups during this period. All right. Any questions on that at all? All right, now y'all good? Y'all sure y'all good? All right, hold on. I think I had one more thing I wanted to talk about. See, it's thinking one of them. Go ahead. All right.
Muslims, they believe in everything in the Bible besides that what Christ wasn't the most son or he wasn't something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like of that nature. But it's like you know what I mean, he like Muslims like especially my brother, he's from Baptist Presbyterian lineage. Anybody that joined the Islam, the Muslim community, the Muslim faith and all that, they only join that faith because the fact that they don't know that Christ was the Son of the Most High. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I can give you a reason why people decide to become. You want to know like why they decide to become Muslims? Okay, why black people decide to become Muslims? It's simply because a lot of times they don't know that the Israelites are really there. You know, say they hear about Muslims and they because look at this place here. It seems to show so much prominence, right? Because you look at the Nation of Islam, right? They move militant. Black people always wanted to be militant, right? You wanted to be militant. You wanted to be a soldier, right? You die on the streets because you want to be a soldier to somebody, right? So when you see the Nation of Islam, you think of that as being that. But the thing of it is, you serving a false god, which always gonna mean you gonna lose. I'm gonna show y'all the most important scripture that in my opinion, right here. This is my favorite scripture right here. Was like chapter, I guess you could say. Okay. Okay. Anybody got a sword on them? All right, give me the book of Judah, chapter 5. You had a question real quick, on the line?
La.
Okay.
Judah chapter.
What's going on?
He said Judah chapter 5.
Yeah, go to the first verse.
I can read another one.
All right, go ahead. You can read.
This is Judah chapter 5. Then it was declared to the Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Assur, that the children of Israel had prepared for war and had shut up the passages of the hill country and had fortified all the tops of the high hills and had laid impediments in the Champagne countries.
All right, keep going. So what? Just to make it short, they were getting ready for war. So when you get ready for war, you started, putting gates up, blocking off where people can come attack you at, right? You build your gates up. That's basically what they're doing. Go ahead.
Come. Chapter 2. Wherewith he was very angry and called all the princes of Moab and all the captains of Ammon and all the governors of the sea coast.
Okay.
And he said unto them, tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is that dwelleth in the hill country, and what are the cities that they inhabit, and what is the multitude of their army, and wherein is the power and strength, and what king is set over them, or captain of their army.
Okay. So he's trying to get intel. This is getting intelligence, right? It's like CIA, right? He's trying to get intelligence. He's calling all these people, yo, give me some intel. Tell me about these people over here, right? Read the next verse.
Come. And why have they determined not to come and meet me?
So he mad as hell because they like, yo, we ain't messing with you like that. We ain't coming out there to come holler at you. He like, why they ain't coming out here to come holler at me? Because I forget who King Holofernes is. Like the name, I think it's like that's his name here, but he had like another name that you would know him by in English. And I can't remember what that is. Go ahead.
Come. More than all the inhabitants of the west.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Now, what'd you say? What do you mean? No, I have to look it up. Goodness. Let me see if it'll tell me on here. Okay, so like he was like a general. He was a general under Nebuchadnezzar. So he's like a very powerful man. Nobody was trying to talk to him. That's why he was mad about. So, all right. So I have to look. I'll check to be sure to get more information because they're saying here that he was a fictional character because they always try to make, our history like it's fiction. So I have to I have to ask like in class to try to get, you know, to see. But I know I heard of it. I can't think of who it is. But he basically this king is mad because of what happened. He's mad because they not coming to him. You're supposed to be like, this is your region, your area. Why y'all not coming to come, holler at me? Because everybody got to come talk to me, right? Keep going.
Come out of one come. Is it 2 hours? About to start back at 4 out of 1.
No, you can go to 5.
Come out of one come. Verse 5. Then said Achior, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant. And I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, which dwelleth near thee, and inhabits the hill countries. And there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant.
So he say, hey, I'm gonna tell you about them. I ain't gonna tell you no lies, right? And the one thing I know about history, they always try to say stuff is fictional on stuff because not everybody is written about that you can find. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere. Like, we've had generals and stuff like that you may not ever have heard of. We've had generals like in America that you might find one page on Wikipedia, but we got the internet now. So imagine what they were like before. You might have never even heard of them. And then if we didn't have like a centralized, like we do now, the internet, how you gonna be able to find these people? So they always try to make things. That's the thing you got to kind of go through history. They try to make people like they're fiction. To try to say they can't find their bones and stuff like that. Who was that dude? Man, I think he was like a Mongolian or something like that. Known real big. Yeah, Genghis Khan. I think they can't find his bones. They can't find where he was buried at. But they know he existed, right? So, with that being said, don't rely on a lot of the oppressors because when they come to history, a lot of times you got to know kind of how to weed through it. They kind of know what you're looking for because certain stuff line up with the Bible. That's what you got to look for, things that line up with the Bible, right? So he's telling them about these people. Like, y'all, I'm gonna tell you, I ain't gonna tell no lie. Now go ahead, read this verse 6.
Come out of one come. Verse 6. This people are descended of the Chaldeans.
Keep going.
And they sojourned heretofore in Mesopotamia.
You're talking about Abraham, right? Their sons of they're from the Chaldeans. Talking about people that are Abraham's people, right? And they sojourned at Mesopotamia. Keep going.
Come out of one come. Because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of Chaldea. For they left the way of their ancestors and worshiped the God of heaven, the God of whom they knew.
Yep.
So they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days.
So now, because they were there, nobody wanted them there because they didn't want to follow those guys anymore. They left, right? They got there. They fled into all these different. They fled to different lands, right? They sojourned there many days. All right. Somebody have a question? Or was I one of the kids? Oh, so like, keep going.
Can I walk on? This is verse 9. Then their God commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned, and to go into the land of Canaan, where they dwelt, and were increased with gold and silver, and with very much cattle.
There you go. We start doing good, right? So then we start doing real good, right? Keep going.
Can I walk on? But when the famine covered all the land of Canaan, they went down into Egypt and sojourned there, while they were nourished and became there a great multitude, so that the one could not number their nation.
So that now they went into that area and grew even bigger. So now you can even put a number on how many people that they had, right? So keep going.
Therefore, the king of Egypt rose up against them and dealt subtly with them and brought them low with laboring in brick and made them slaves.
So now the king of Egypt, he said, okay, I'm going to make you a low people. You getting too big, I'm going to make you low. And now he made them the lower class citizens and made them the slaves, made them start laboring with bricks. So we might have had other jobs. We might have been the carpenters. We may have been the aristocrats. We could have been anything in Egypt. And he said, nope, we going to make y'all the lower class. Y'all going to do the lower labor. Y'all not going to be doctors and lawyers no more. Y'all going to be the people that paved the road. Something that an idiot can do, basically they're trying to put us in like they do today. They don't want us to take positions of actual intelligence, even though we can handle those jobs. Like, you would hear your parents talk about, I've been at the job 25 years. I know everybody's job in the whole place, but they get one man there, some devil. He come in there, he just went and got an education. You know what I'm saying? Went to college a couple of years, and now I got to train him to be my supervisor. Because they made you became you labor with brick now. That's to give you an equivalent. They make you the labor with brick, and they start putting other people above you, right? Keep going.
Verse 12. Then they cried unto their God, and he smote all the land of Egypt with incurable plagues. So the Egyptians cast them out of their sight.
So now he's saying this what happened to them once they left. Once the Egyptians started, once you cry out to our God, the Egyptians, you see all the plagues happen in Egypt. Now go down to let me see. Go to 16.
This is verse 16.
Let me summarize that. So then they went into all of the lands around Israel and start smiting, which is just mean killing, basically all other people. We were in wars with all the people around Israel, and we took the land back. So now he's saying, go ahead, and I'll go from there.
This is verse 16. And they cast forth before them the Canaanite, the Pharisite, the Jebusite, and the Sycamite, and all the Girgashites, and they dwelt in that country many days.
Go ahead.
Come. And whistled they sinned not before their God.
Mm-hmm.
They prospered because the God that had iniquity was with them.
All right, now when they didn't sin before their God, they prospered. Because we have a God that hates iniquity, which means he hates sin, right? So he was with them. Now read the next one.
But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore.
Yep. So then when we stopped following that, we got destroyed in many battles. The worst way. Keep going.
And were led captives into a land that was not theirs, and the temples of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemy.
Yeah, it was taken by the enemy. So whenever you start sinning, our gods and our temples get cast down, and they take a hold of our cities. That's why the Israelis is in Israel right now. They take a hold of our cities because we sinning. God don't want them there. But he's saying, like any real parent, if you don't follow my my rules, you can get your behind out, and I have somebody here that pays me rent. Essentially, what he doing. I want you in here, but you got to follow my rules. Keep going.
Come out of what come. But now are they returned to their God, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate.
So now I said, now they are returned to the God. They've come up to all those places they got scattered because they was made slaves. They all came back to Jerusalem because it was left just like a desert land. It was just left there because they didn't really want it. You know what I'm saying? The most. So the thing is, you think like we think Israel is like to us that's our home, so we love Israel, but they don't care about Israel like that. They don't care about it like that. They wanted you. You was the crown. You was the jewel out of Israel. They got you. Now that's just a landmass. Now they want like the oppressor. They want Israel because they think that that's them. That's what they really think. They think that this is their land. That's why they want it so bad. All right, keep going.
Come out of one
Now,
come.
now, this is the part I want you to really pay attention to right here. Keep going.
Come out of one come. It's verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
So this man that took his time to be a CIA agent to find out about these people, he said that if you find the error against them, we could go right now and we can take them up. We can go and take them over, and this could be our land. I read the next verse.
Come out of one come. But if there be no iniquity in that nation, let my Lord now pass by. Let their Lord defend them.
He said, "Nah, if you don't see none, pass them Negroes by. Right? Keep going. Don't stay here. Just go look at somebody else. Go look at another land to take over. Keep going.
Come. And their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world."
And what does that mean? A reproach. You know what that means? No, it doesn't mean that. A reproach is like essentially, in today's terms, a reproach would mean you will be the laughing stock of everybody else. Everybody gonna laugh at your behind. That's what that means. You're gonna be reproach means like people gonna be like, oh, you let them beat you. Oh, that means I could no, I ain't gonna miss. Oh, you let them beat you. Like say somebody he the bully, right? And you let some, like David, right? Like David and Goliath. Now Goliath, he big and strong. He got beaten by a little, probably like a, equivalent of like maybe an 18-year-old, right? He got beat by him. Oh man, God, he ain't nothing no more. You know what I'm saying? That's how you would be. You would be like Goliath, because you got taken down because we weren't the largest nation, right? We were a very small nation. We were the last nation to be formed. So we were a very small nation. So for us to beat you, it makes you laughable. We the small guy, you the big guy, you the big dog, and we come take you out. Now you gonna be laughed upon by everybody in the whole earth. Oh man, you heard about them, man? They got beat by them Israelites over there, man. Ain't nothing but 5 of them. That's what you gonna be. So that's to make that easy. So who was the person that asked the question? The we got on here? Anybody who asked the question? How y'all don't even remember who asked it? I'm talking about not that. I'm talking about before I brought up the scriptures. Ain't no sweat. What'd you say? What was your question again, Shalakia? Okay, no, that was before. I think I answered that. It's too wild. But at any rate, this is like the whole thing of the book. Just like the whole thing of learning like the history, even seeing this is what happened. Once we started following, we was following our own thing, we were good. But once we start following with the heathens, we get taken over. So I don't know. Y'all should remember this. Judah chapter 5 and 20. That's my favorite I always remember that's my one of my favorite verses, right there, the whole Bible. Anybody else had a question at all? Anybody had a question? Y'all good? You ain't got none? Oh, you can go ahead. You can read that real quick.
The definition of reproach. Address someone in such a way as to express disapproval or disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
The expression of disapproval or disappointment.
There you go. So you'd be disappointed because you lost to like a small nation of people. So that's another way of being like you get somebody disappointed. You know, they disappointed because you lost. Why you lose to them? So you're gonna be laughed at. So they didn't want, you don't want to be laughed at while, you trying to take over. You trying to be the big king of everything. You don't want to end up being laughed at. So that's what he was telling his king. They're like, yo, we don't want to be them. You don't want to be the ones people, laugh about in the corners, talking about you. So, but that's basically it. Nobody got any questions at all. They ain't got no questions. They ain't taught all that. Nobody got no questions. You can go ahead. This the end of it, so you can go ahead. You got a question? Go ahead. You sure? Yeah, we done now. That's the end of it. So you can go ahead. Anybody got any other questions outside of what the topic? Y'all good? Everybody solid?
Let's just bring out if I may, bring out a simple one. Why we call the white man the devil the Bible speaks of?
You said, why do we call him the devil?
Why we call him the devil the Bible?
Why we call him the devil the Bible speak of? Well, first of all, the Bible says he's the devil. That's first off. That's an easy one. Going to scriptures. Hold on. I'll give you some specific ones. Log me out of here. Hold on a second. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Okay. Well, for one, there's the one scripture that because somebody found them that you have to what's that word you gotta look up? Go ahead.
Could I bring out Job 9:24 out of 1? Slack.
What does it say?
The earth is given.
Yeah, you can bring that up real quick.
Come out of 1 car. This is Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
That's telling the earth is given unto the hand of the wicked, right? So, hey, what's that? I know y'all obviously it's the one that where it says that before everything happens, you have to show the evil person. You know what I'm talking about? It might be. Get that find out from real quick. Yeah, that's the man of the son of what's that word? That's it. Yeah, there you go, man. I know my man got it, man. Son of perdition. I could not think of that word, man. It's like my memory just leave once I get up here for some reason. I don't know why. Memory just be like, oh, I'm done with you. All right. Here we go. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Somebody got that for me? Read it in go to verse 3.
Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Let no man deceive you by any means.
Who tried to deceive you? What's the devil mean? It means a deceiver. Who made you be a Christian?
Esau.
Exactly. He forced it upon you with the death, the rope to lynch you, and the whip. He forced you to be a Christian. He deceived you, and then he gonna give you white Jesus, which we know nobody on that land over there is white. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Even before, like at that time, even the Moabites and Ammonites were dark. The Ammonites and Moabites started getting lighter until like the 1800s, because they like what was it? Like just how the Esau got white because they started preserving. They like anybody that has lighter skin, would have that became more desirable. You can look up in like Chinese and Japanese history, having lighter skin became like you know that was just what people wanted. So when that happens, people start becoming lighter. If you go to certain in the hill countries, the hill lands over there, they dark as us. You know what I'm saying? But in the cities, because that's more popular and all of that, they'll be a little bit lighter there. So just so you know, nobody except for Esau came out looking like the way he does. Nobody else did. Everybody else came out darker. You understand? All right, go ahead.
Let no man deceive you by any means,
Mm-hmm.
for that day shall not come,
Mm-hmm.
except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
So that's he got to be revealed. That's why we got to call him. You got to say who he is. You got to call him the devil. Read the next verse.
Oh, God. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God.
He became God. He became God, right? It was a small hat cat that I was looking up one time, right? He said that like, why is Jewish people represented so heavy in the porn industry? And he said, because we hate Jesus. He said, we don't believe in God. I'm your God. Even when you want to say, black people want to say, you just say we God. Black people don't say I'm your God. We don't ever say that. Because we got respect of, who the most high power is, even if we not following the most high power. We got a respect of it. The devil, he wants to be your God. We're going to get another verse on that too. Go ahead.
Okay. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, for that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, shewing himself that he is God. So
he's saying right there, he's showing himself that he is God. Now give me the where everybody confused Lucifer. Give me Lucifer in there. Because you was taught that, where was you taught that that a fallen angel and all this? You was taught that Satan was a fallen angel, right? You always taught this, right? You look in Job. Hey, give me that part in Job, your Quagabar. Give me that part in Job. I think it's Job 1 and 10, I believe, where Satan said he was following the what the Most High said. If I get that from me real quick. Are you qua? You hear me, your qua?
Come out of one.
All right, go ahead. Get that from me real quick.
Come. This is Job 1 and 10.
Now this Satan and Christ, Satan and the Most High talking. Go ahead.
Has not thou made a hedge about him?
So now he's asking about go one verse above that real quick. Read that.
Come. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Do Job fear God for not?
So now he asks him. He's asking him quick because he's offering because Satan, he went to the Most High and said, I'll go on to and fro the earth, and and he said, have you considered Job to give him a test, to test him? And he said, have he feared you for nothing? Because he's saying you gave him everything, right? Keep going.
Has not thou made an hedge about him?
Hedge of protection, right? Keep going.
And about his house,
Mm-hmm.
and about all that he have on every side.
Keep going.
Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land.
All right, keep going.
But put forth thine hand now, and
He
touch
said,
all
put
that he
forth thy
hath.
hand. What does that mean? What does put forth thy hand? Anybody know what that means? Put forth thine hand. Go ahead.
Would it be when he say put forth thy hand, he'll say it's basically like, how people try to say the Most High and the devil's enemies, but he asking for the order from the Most High because
he's asked for an order. He said, give me the order. Put forth thine hand. What is when you see a king, when he say do this, that means do it, right? There's rulership. Y'all see in TV, right? The king, he go like this. He said, put forth thine hand now. He said, if you do that, go ahead. Read from there.
But put forth thy hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face.
So he said, if you give me that, he will curse you to your face. They're not in a chess match. Y'all understand this, right? They're not, they give you the picture of them arm wrestling. They're not arm wrestling. This is a council, right? I'm sitting here, just like give you the visual example. I'm sitting here, I'm asking y'all questions about what we need, what I want. Y'all are giving me y'all inputs. But and just say, let's say higher call, he came in. I don't want to call you Satan, but let's say you it's a liar. But let's just say he coming in, he gonna ask a question, right? And that's how it would go. He would ask me a question, and I'll go ahead and give him the order, right? This was a council. You understand? So let's go to Isaiah chapter 14 real quick, and we'll close it out. Go to verse 12.
This is Isaiah 14 and 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which hath didst weaken the nations?
So he's saying this person, he's going to weaken the nations, right? Who weakens the nations? Keeps everybody else weak. Esau, right? Esau through America. He keeps all the other countries weak. To the European Union. Israel trying to keep Iran weak. That's why they want to attack them now, because they used up their resources in the fight when they was given to the they was giving resources to the Houthis and to the Hamas. So this is the best time for them to attack Iran right now. That's why Netanyahu he going to war. He don't care nobody behind him. He trying to fight him now because it's the weakest Iran has ever been. So he's going now to go and try to attack them. The reason why in America we went to Iraq was because of Israel. Israel got America in that war, right? They're trying to weaken the nation. He wants to weaken Iraq. He already weakened Syria when they killed that one king. Well, I don't think they killed. I think he hauled it. He got about it there. So they weakened Syria. Only one left is Iran. Like I said, Iran is the breadbasket of the Middle East. That's where they get all their food from. So he wants to take over that. Keep going.
Come out of one come. For thou hast said unto thine heart, I will ascend into the heavens. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Who try to go into space right now? Our oppressor, right? He's trying to go into space right now. He wants, you know what, Elon, what did he say? He want to go to Mars?
Right.
Elon say he want to go to Mars. He trying to be above the stars, right? Keep going.
Come out of one come. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation.
He want to sit where he want to sit here. He want to lead the congregation of people. He want to be the religious leaders of everybody, right? Who's the religious leaders of everybody? The oppressor.
Right.
They lead the Catholic Church. They lead, hell, whatever. I'm sure some of them people that you think is leading Islam is probably a devil somewhere. Like I've even heard a Muslim say, because he was trying to make a point to me to say, we got a lot of white people in Islam. White people is the biggest converts over in Islam, one of the biggest converts. So that tells you they got them over there too. I just don't know who they are. I don't be looking at Muslims as much, but they got them over there too. They everywhere they go in everybody's religion and try to take over. They in Buddhism, Hinduism. Hell, I think they trying to be a Rastafari.
Right.
They try to grow them stinking dreads, you know what I'm saying? Trying to grow this. They just don't wash their behind and they start growing dreads. There you go. All right, keep going.
Come out of one come.
Mm-hmm.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
Uh-huh.
I will be like the Most High.
And he said, I'm gonna be like the Most High. I'm gonna give you all. I'm gonna be the person that you go to for everything. That's who I'm gonna be like the Most High. I'm gonna ascend above that. I'm gonna be above the heights of the clouds, the International Space Station, right? They above the clouds. That's like what 300,000 miles above Earth, something like that, something crazy. And they above the clouds. You can't even see the space station. All right, keep going.
Come out of one come. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
So he said he gonna bring them down to hell, which these are all heaven and hell is not a literal place. They are the only times they're heaven and hell. Heaven sometimes just mean in the sky, right? It just means in the sky. It's like different definitions. You'll say heaven. Heaven is like, while we having a good time with your brothers, that's heaven. Hell is while we had the slavery, nigga. That's hell. Trust me, that's hell, right? So that's what he's saying when he says he's bringing them to hell. He's going to bring them down to their in slavery. Keep going.
Come out of one come. Verse
Mhm.
16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying.
Oh, and he's saying right here, the people that see this happen, because they're gonna see this, like, okay, what the hell? They're gonna look at you, right? Keep going.
Come out of one come. Is this the man that made the earth tremble?
And look, what the hell? Is this the man that made the earth tremble? Because they got bombs, man. They blowing up everybody. They blowing the hell out of each other right now in Iran and over there, right? And Ukraine and Russia about to go back, start warring again. Earth trembling. Whether the bomb drop, earth will start shaking, right? They make the earth tremble. Keep going.
Come out of one come. That did shake kingdoms.
It's shaking kingdoms, making them, shake about, shaking up everything that's going on. Keep going.
Come out of one come. That made the world as a wilderness.
Made the world as a wilderness. They took away all the cities. They destroying the cities. All right, keep going. Oh, that's
come. And destroyed the cities thereof.
There you go.
That opened not the house of his prisoners.
And they open all the house of their prisoners, right? Like when America, they don't know. America is the prisoners of Europe. They let them come to America. They open up all the houses of their prisoners, right? All the people, like Israel. If you go over there and look, you look up child molesters. Google child molesters that's Israelis. It will blow your mind. And they just let them go wherever they want to go. Child molestation. They got, whatever you could think of. The mafia, the Italian mafia was ran by the Jewish gang. It was not ran by the mafia, the actual Italians. You want? Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, get a brother Mike real quick second here.
I was just trying to get more light on with the heavens and the face of hell. I was trying to get basically the reference when Revelation comes out, talking about basically creating new earth and bringing heaven down from God to Israel. I was trying to get more.
Okay. From what I remember, if I remember correctly, I was taught it's not like Revelations is it's a vision. It doesn't everything isn't literal about Revelations. Yeah, well, no, it's a vision. So like he's just seeing all John is in a trance. So he's just like writing what he's seeing. He's just like writing what he's seeing. So what he's saying after all of the hell comes through, all of the fighting and the wars, because what's supposed to happen is there's supposed to be a big war. They're supposed to stop fighting each other. Every world supposed to be fight. The whole world supposed to be fighting each other. They're gonna stop fighting each other and start trying to fight the Most High, right? So when they see that, when that happens after the whole war is destroyed, it's going to be a new earth, which doesn't necessarily mean a new earth, a new planet. It just means it's going to be like a new authority on earth. So you're not going to have the oppressor over us no more. It's going to be Israelites over you, which you're going to be just. You're going to have crowns. You're going to have people, you're going to rule in this district. You're going to rule in that district. So we're going to be over. They're going to have their own countries. Well, they're going to have their own countries. They're going to be separate from us. Africans going to still be Africans. They just can't be eating doo-doo. You know what I'm saying? Getting peed on by cows. They can't do that no more. They're going to have to be clean. They're going to have to adopt what we tell them to do. Like we've been made to adopt everybody else. They're going to be made to adopt our culture. That's going to be the difference. So that's the new heaven, new earth coming down. And a new Israel, which means we're going to have them build that Israel for us. They're going to build all of that. So, make a long story short, that's the new heaven, new earth. Here, go ahead. Man, hey man, do your thing, man. This was this class was for. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're talking about I know you're talking about in the book of Genesis chapter 6. Okay, go to Genesis chapter 6 for me.
Come.
All right.
Start
Yeah,
at verse 1.
Go to the first one.
Come. This is Genesis 6 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
Let's stop right there. This is part of it, right? The sons of God, the angels, they would say that that's angels, right? The sons of God, you know who they were? Sort of. Remember the chosen seed was Abel, right? Then Abel got killed. The chosen seed went through Seth. This was Seth's children. That's way after. You see, this is before the flood. So you're talking about all of that. That's way after. That's during like Abraham and afterwards time. Abraham ain't even a thought right now. This is the time of like before Noah. This is like leading up into Noah. You remember Noah? He had 3 sons: Shem, Japheth, and Ham. Shem, and after like what about 8 or so, 10 people, then it became Abraham. Then it started. This is way before that. All right. So there wasn't a name to these people that's recorded at least. I'm sure they all had names, Because you remember that when after Cain killed Abel, he went to another country. He went to the country of Ur or something like that, I think. Huh? Nah, there you go. He went to another country. He went to another land. So that's where he went to. So I'm sure they had a name. They just didn't. It's not recorded. There you go. So as was talking about the sons of God, which is the sons of Seth, started looking at these other nations like, yo, man, he thick over it. You know what I'm saying? He started looking over like, yo, he might be right over it. He started looking at her saying they were fair. Fair just means good looking. All right, keep going.
Come on, one come.
And they took with them. They took them.
And they took them wives of all which they had chose.
So he took wives of all of those different nations of people. All right, keep going.
And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years.
Go ahead. So wait, just start right there. So it said he lowered, or just when he started lowering our lifespan. All right, keep going.
Come. There were giants in the earth in those days.
And so everybody think this is giants, right? Giants. So you think they're giants? Yeah, you would think they were like literal giants. Keep going.
And also after that,
And
when the
after
sons of
that,
God came into the
hold on. After that, there were also giants. Where they at? There's giants today. Keep going.
Come. There was giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men.
So now, when you have your kingdom, and you go to the woman of the daughter of somebody else's kingdom, what happens? Huh? No, well, that too, but what are you now? Think about it. When you just think about it. If you're a prince, if you're like, very high regard, you were a prince, and you go marry somebody else, a princess like a princess, another country. You're in higher regard because now you're the prince of two countries. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, where were you at? And go ahead.
Can I walk on? And they bare children to them. The same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown.
Now, if you became bigger, imagine what your son has become. They're literally walking on both sides of the country, right? Just like today, you could even say as an example of, let's say, like you'll see them do it a lot when they take over a country, right? They'll have somebody that, like a devil, he'll go get with one of the women there, and then they'll have that person be set in place. But when they go take over that country, no, when they take over that country, they're gonna make him the king over that country. They did it in like Panama, they do it in Africa, they do it in a bunch of different countries. That's the same thing that they do. They'll go have a baby with him, so he's like half whatever never that those people are, and it'll be half whoever's the people trying to rule over them. So it bring them both together, sort of like, you know what I'm saying? It would have the appearance, just politics. It would bring them both together. That's what it's talking about. Keep going.
Come out of one come. And the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
So he saw that this was the party because God, he don't even want us to be with other nations. So I don't know if I can find it real quick. Let me see if I can find it. And I'll close it out with that if I can find it real quick. Ezekiel. See if I can find it real quick. Go ahead. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm trying to break something down real quick. No, this is in Ezekiel when they was talking about the trees. I think it's Ezekiel. You know what I'm talking about?
Diverse.
Yep, that's it. There's it right there. Because the Garden of Eden, the tree was representation of, because this was going on. The Most High, he opened up Adam's mind to receive things, and he was looking through the constellations, and he's telling them what everything is through the constellations. He said, but don't look over here. And this is what that was that he was looking at. So you find that for me yet? That sounds about right. All right. Yeah, read that for me.
Come upon the book of Ezekiel, chapter 31 and verse 3. Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon, with fair branches, and with a shadowing shroud, and of a high stature, and his top was among thick boughs.
So this was what it's talking about. It's talking about, that tree, right? It's talking about the tree. It's talking about the tree in the Garden of Eden. It's not a real tree, right? It's like the book of Genesis. A lot of it is like book of Genesis, the book of Revelations. There's a lot of parables and things that's representative of things, metaphors, right? Keep going.
Verse 4. The waters made him great. The deep, the deep set him up on high, with her rivers running round about his plant, and sent out her little rivers unto all the trees of the sea.
Okay, so the rivers was taken up here, and it sprinkled out little rivers of all of his knowledge, other little spots. Keep going.
Verse 5. Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of water.
Because like it becomes bigger, like a country. When a country starts getting bigger, having a bigger bow above everybody else, everybody starts trying to go to that nation, that tree. All right, and it sprinkles it out for the world. That's America right now. Everybody wants to come to America because we that big tree. All right. Go to 8.
Verse 8. The cedars in the garden of God could not hide. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of God was like unto him in his beauty.
So none look good as that tree to everybody else. That tree looked so good. That's why Eve was seduced by it. All right, keep going.
Verse 9. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied him.
I thought we was talking about nature. We was talking about they used to be talking about the Garden of Eden now, right? Keep going.
Verse 10. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast lifted up thyself in height, and he hath shot up his top among the thick boughs, and his heart is lifted up in his height.
Yep. So now it's talking about his lifting up. His heart. When you start getting like a country, they started getting, the ego starts getting bigger. Let me see if I can go to where I want to go. We're gonna chop it out. Okay. I don't think I see it right here, but basically it's just describing that that tree was other nations. So what other nations were following, God didn't want us to follow. So that's what Adam and Eve were doing when they followed the serpent. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want them to know about all of the other stuff that was going on. So he's just describing that tree is that. That's why they likened it back to the Garden of Eden and all that to show you what was really going on. So then, like I said, when you go to the time of Noah, he's just trying to when that happened, we were going further into those customs. Nobody was following anything anymore. So it was so bad that you see there's no records of anybody really after that happened. Like after all of that happened, there wasn't even records. Only one that was what's the person they made the book of Enoch? Like it was like Enoch that might have had that had like a book. But everything else it got destroyed. It wasn't even any records of anything because it was that bad. So we didn't really have nobody else until this next after the flood and everything. So he didn't even keep. We don't have no records of nobody else hardly. So that's just how bad it got. That's why he said it became looked as though it's gonna be continually evil. Nobody's following my laws except for Noah and his family. Out of the whole earth, that was a lie. Only people following his laws was Noah and his family. And that was the only people that got saved. So that's just to make a long story. Try to shorten it up for y'all a little bit. All right, no other questions? We good?
So like
Go ahead.
uh, uh, real fast, I wonder if could you break down Revelations 12, 7, 7 through 9, sir? If
I can try. I can try. Uh,
12, 7 through 9. If not, I don't want it. It's getting late.
yeah, yeah. I went a little bit later because I had to start a little bit late. Um, okay, okay. Revelations 12:7, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. It just means they fought in the sky. It don't heaven doesn't mean they fought in literal heaven. White people they always want to put everything as everything got to be literal. That's what it is. But no, they fought in the sky. That's why we got the Space Force, we got the Air Force. They're, the angels coming from the sky, they supposed to be fighting. So that's where they're fighting in the heavens, right? Um, the great dragon was cast out. The old serpent called the devil and Satan was the deceiver of the whole world. It was telling you the devil and the Satan is two different people. The devil is the white man, Satan is the angel, right? So who was deceived with the whole world? He was cast into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So it's showing all of the angels, all the people that followed Satan, right?
Okay.
And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is salvation and strength, the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. But the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which is accused them before our God day and night. So the people that killed Christ are going to be brought to, which was the Romans, Esau. They're going to be come out. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down into you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. So he's telling you, therefore, you know this is coming. Rejoice, because the devil that's here, the so-called oppressor, he only
Okay.
have a short time to rule over you. It's only a short time. So rejoice because it's coming because he's gonna be destroyed. So he only have a short time. That's why he's coming down with such wrath. He only has a short time to do it in. All right.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Good to go.
Come.
That was quick as I could do that one. Y'all good? Everybody good? No more questions? All right. With that, pass the class over to Priest and Officer Dar Amah.
These are the security announcements. We have ISUPK start out of 1 West on Turner Fisher, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When new brother and sister come to the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They hit the shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to that brother or sister. There was another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties, which is a commandment, come from the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and also the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, which means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ash. 10% of every penny of increase the Lord gives you give to the Treasury Department or teach. Priest fund. People asking for priests, not mandatory. What's the amount you like to give? Upcoming holy convocation will be the memorial blowing of the trumpets taking place in September 21st, right? Just stay tuned for more details of the calendar and everything like that. Right. Also, reminder for any brother who wants to be a trooper in school, start wearing all black. That's boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and war scarves. For that, let's give a courteous salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, I imagine, which means to stand. Right. In Israel, I imagine. Like, imagine Shabbat. Oh, it's a imagine Shabbat. Select. Imagine Shabbat. Yep. I imagine. Barak. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua. And also, what we just said in the Hebrew is, may the Most High bless you in the name of Christ. That you tie, hands down. All right, now we're going to give a crazy salute for the sisters online. In Israel, Amad Shabbat. Imagine. Barak. Yahweh Shema Al-Thun Ba'ashem Yahshua. What we just said in the Hebrew for the sisters, may the Most High watch over you in the name of Christ. Got you tie, hands down. Class dismissed.
I got you.
For so long you've been sighing and crying, begging for justice, and here the Lord is bringing you justice right here to your streets.
City eyes.